Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexi Yachts here. It is Saturday morning. So this morning we're doing a Saturday Share the Love Club. And this is the first regular one we've done in a couple weeks because I was on the vacation. And we did kind of share the love club for global basketball and game sevens. Well, we're back to more honoring individuals on our Share the Love Club. And I wanted to honor today a young man who came to the Raptors in a trade from the Utah Jazz named Ochai Agbaji. Agbaji is a Nigerian descent on his father's side, and his father came to America and set up roots in Wisconsin, and met his mother, who was an athlete herself. And Ochai was born in Milwaukee and around in that area in the U.S., and then moved to Kansas City. And as a young kid, he played more soccer. He was more of a soccer player. But then at a point in his teen years, he grew really quickly and sprouted up to being 6'5". So basketball took on more of a central part in his athletic career after that. But he is a trained soccer player from before. I don't know if everybody realizes that. Also, Lindsey Dunn did an interview with Ochai Agbaji earlier this year, which was divulged that he can actually put bars together and spit rhymes. He's a bit of a rapper and does his own music to a degree. So quite talented. Recently, Ochai Agbaji announced on his Instagram while he was in Athens, Greece, that he asked his girlfriend to marry him. That's right. There's some beautiful pictures on Oshai's Instagram account, if you want to go look at it, of him with his girlfriend Avery, now fiance, and they're beautiful. Monique is exactly right in the chat. She's saying that the pictures of the engagement are very beautiful. You can see that they're an interesting couple. I think they've been together for quite a while, but it's very, very cool, and it's nice to see him advancing in his life with a milestone of asking his lady to marry him, and she said yes. Obviously, it'd be weird if she said no. That'd be very weird. But yeah, I think that he's been with her for a while, Avery. So overjoyed and happy to see Ochai and Avery's love in the engagement recently this summer. So much joy and good things happening for Ochai in his life right now, and I want that to continue. I love that he's a Raptor right now, guys. When we did that trade with Utah this season, I was really overjoyed about Kelly Olynyk coming to the team and didn't really focus on Ochai at first. I was kind of skeptical. In fact, I was a little tough on him on the stream when he first came in. I was like, I don't know. What does this guy do? Like, I wasn't very familiar with his game. And over a couple weeks, I started to realize what he does. And it's not even really about the scoring right now. It will be more and more about the scoring as time goes on. But what Ochai does and his specialty is a very interesting defensive stuff that he does. And for his height, he plays bigger than his height. He's only 6'5", but I don't know if he'll grow anymore, but he is bigger as far as he can leap really well. And, there's some real skill for him on the defensive side of the ball that is absolutely valuable to the Raptors franchise. We've talked about in recent months that he could be partly a replacement in some ways for what OG was doing for us, that he is a defensive stopper. And if we can put him on certain people, he can really stymie people from going off on us. Give them the Ochai-itis instead of the OG-itis we're used to on this channel. There's a lot of different interesting things about Ochai also. Of course, he's a Kansas Jayhawk. He played on Kansas the year before Grady was there. And he left a little note in the dorm room that Grady found afterwards. So they're bonded, and they have a special connection from their alma mater. He obviously also won a national championship while he was at Kansas. They went all the way. He won the national championship as a collegiate athlete. And not only that, he was announced as the most outstanding player of the tournament. So he has credentials. He has pedigree. He has athleticism. And he has potential to grow into an even more powerful NBA player in the years to come. This has all been noticed by Masai Ujiri and Bobby Webster. This is part of the reason why he was in that trade that came to us from Utah. So I'm very excited about the potential and possibilities of Ochai Agbaji getting better and better in a Raptors jersey. Now he's on our team next year. I don't see this guy getting traded or anything like that because I feel like we value him. In some ways, he has connections, like I just said, with people like Grady Dick, Masai Ujiri, and other people around the Raptors organization that make it more likely that he's a piece that's going to stick around. I think he's very valuable. I think that his athleticism is understated and unknown to a degree around the league overall, but that it is there and that we've seen him do crazy high flying blocks in the second half of the season this past year. And still, even like very, like putting a lot of energy all over on the court in defensive effort. And I love that. In some ways, the team can't just be 12 players that put the ball through the hoop and they're just really good shooters and scorers. Some ways you need those kind of dirty work kind of players, role players like an Ochai Agbaji. Now, I'm not saying that he's not an offensive player because the potential for that is there also. He has a 3-point shot that can get more consistent and be really, really helpful for the Raptors alongside the defensive stuff. Every player has a different fingerprint and a different kind of like build to them, like an NBA 2K build, as far as what their skills are with their body and what they're good at. And Ochai has a very interesting package of skills in his build. And that's what I'm very excited about. I think that Bobby and Masai looked at him and they're like, you know what, this guy is really good, Masai. Yeah, his athleticism is off the charts. And he would be good to have around the Raptors. Boom. Get him in the trade with Utah and with Kelly Olynyk. And all of a sudden he's in a Raptors jersey. So today we're sharing the love for a young fiance, newly engaged Ochai Agbaji. A couple of weeks ago on his Instagram account, he was at Canada's Wonderland, riding the roller coasters and enjoying the great things of Toronto's area in Vaughan at the great roller coaster park, Canada's Wonderland. I love to see that. So y'all, please, today on the chat, if you could espouse your admiration and the things you love about Ochai Agbaji, that's what we do here on the Share the Love Club Saturday mornings on the Raptor Freak channel. Scotty Barnes and Gary Trent Jr. A couple years ago said there's too much hating in this world today online and people saying bad things and talking trash and being critical and just talking out their ass. And we need more sharing the love. So I listened to them. And that's why we made this club on Saturdays, because Scotty said, touch grass and share love. And Gary said, stop hating and share love. And so I said, well, all right, we're going to do the Share the Love Club on the Raptor Freak channel. And that's what we do here. All right, let's start off with the chat here. We've got a super fan, Monique Lawrence, first in, of course, number one. And a week from today, we are going to be on our way to the NBA restaurant for 4 p.m. Monique, the superfan Lawrence's birthday party, an official Raptor Freak family hangout. And not only that, guys, on that morning, a week from today, we're going to do a special Saturday Share Love Club 1000th episode of the Raptor Freak stream. It's just going to happen to coincide on that same day, y'all. That in the morning, I'll do a quick stream talking about hyping up the event later that day and also celebrating the 1000th stream in a row in 1000 days of this channel. So, yeah, it's going to be a big day next Saturday. So June the 8th, please mark it on your calendar. Join us at 9:30 on the channel. And then at 4 o'clock later that day at the NBA restaurant on Queens Quay for Monique's birthday. And we are going to get together and we're going to eat and drink and be merry and celebrate Monique's fantastic, awesome fandom and her life, celebrating the Raptors and just being a number one, loyal, true blue, no matter what, fan for our team. She is the epitome. She is the prototype. She is the great influence for Raptor fans in the Raptor Nation to be like her. And that's undying and loyal and just always for her team and not doing toxic stuff like putting them down and kicking them around when they're in a bad place. Fully unconditionally loving and supporting her team. That is Monique, the superfan Lawrence. And that's why we're going to celebrate her birthday next week. 4 o'clock, Queens Quay, Toronto, NBA restaurant, downtown. Come on down. You don't even have to RSVP or tell us. Just show up, mystery, boom, be on the site, and we will be there. I promise you, I will be there myself. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Mo's saying, good morning, Raptor Freak family. Ochai is so incredibly bright. When he first got here, to me, he struggled. Nerves were there, but I'm ready to see what's next. Yeah. You know what? There's always an adjustment period, I'm sure. I mean, it kind of maybe threw him for a loop. It could be that he was really kind of in a groove in Utah, but all of a sudden you traded, bro, and you got to go to Canada. Whoa. Well, at least, wow, Grady's here. Wow. Okay. I like this. Masai seems like a cool guy. Okay. Toronto's kind of cool. There's an adjustment period. And of course, there were minor struggles in the very beginning, but he got it together. And I love how he got to start a lot near the end of the season because of injuries, because that gave him really extended run and Raptors fans a really good look at him more completely. I would say this: if we're going to compare Ochai Agbaji to Bruce Brown Jr., I would say Agbaji impressed me way more in the second half of the season than Bruce did. And in some ways, they had a similar kind of position and things as far as trying to contribute to the Raptors to help them win when Scotty and Jakob were out. So in some ways, I look at Agbaji and I say, yeah, this guy's valuable. This guy is somebody that we can make work with what we're trying to do here in Toronto. And I like that. And that wasn't the case with Bruce. Not to put him down. I'm just saying, if we look at it, in some ways, Bruce Brown's a more expensive player. He's a more storied player, a more celebrated player. But I find value way more in Ochai Agbaji being around on the Raptors going forward than Bruce Brown. It's just how it is. Most saying also the engagement photos are amazing. Yes, they are, for sure. Ochai looks so handsome, and his wife looks so beautiful. His soon-to-be wife, I should say. Yeah, very beautiful. All right, Canadian Dana is here. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to you, Dana. I hope everything's great in Dana's world today. I hope you got all the good things in your life going this morning on this great Saturday, June the 1st. First day of the month, June the 1st. Yes, I am officially out of my old apartment. Yeah. Trevor's saying, Trevor's here. Good morning to Trevor J., the commissioner. Good morning, Raptors family. Always keep your head up, because if you're down, you won't be able to see the blessings that have been placed in your life today. Boom goes the dynamite. Look at Trevor putting it right there. Seriously, this is true. The jaded people in our lives miss out on the best opportunities because they don't see them or they don't get them given to them. Like, if you're not a person that's kind of putting out energy that's inviting or welcoming, if you're kind of a prickly person, people will avoid you. And in some ways, that in itself will limit your opportunities, because the people will not come to you with things because they don't feel comfortable talking to you. So it really is good to keep your head up and stay positive and trying to be a more warm person that's open to communication and connection. Because if you close yourself off, you're going to lose opportunities you never even knew you were going to get. And that's a really important thing to say right there. Those blessings are wanting to come to you. But if you shut them off, they won't. They won't come to you. That's how it is. All right, let's do the classic card of the day. Oh! Every day on our channel, we take a classic basketball card and we look at it and we got to name it. And whoever gets it gets 100 points added to their Raptor Freak Trivia score. So we've got this one today, and write the full name in. Do not half-ass me, is what I'm telling people. I need you to write the full name of the player so you can get the points. And here you go. This is going to be real quick. Y'all be ready. And if you're on the timer and you've already written in, you better be ready to get this one fast, because this one is super easy. I'm going to say that right now. All right, guys, who is that? Who is that? Write that in right now, because that is too easy. This is an icon. This is somebody who has kind of put his foot in his mouth recently. That's right. Full Ass has got it. He got it right before Ahmed. Oh, my gosh. Look at Kareem jumping in there. Ahmed is second, and Fiercey is third, and Carlo is fourth on my screen. So Full Ass has full-assed it correctly and gotten the greatest Indiana Pacer of all time, Reggie Miller. What a well-known card. This is actually a really nice card. Honestly, if you like this card, if you like Reggie Miller, and you want a classic Reggie Miller card, look at it. He's there with Patrick Ewing on the back. Look at the foil. It's a beautiful upper deck card. You can get this card from me next Saturday. I'll have it with me at the NBA restaurant, and I don't want it. I'll give it to whoever wants it next week for free. All these classic cards, all these cards that I open, most of them are going to be available next Saturday. So if you want free basketball cards and to come see Monique and myself, why wouldn't you come? Why wouldn't you come down on a Saturday and sit next to the water and eat some nice food and sit in an NBA themed restaurant with the Rat Freak family? Why wouldn't you want to do that? That sounds amazing, doesn't it? You can get this Reggie Miller card. If somebody wants this Reggie Miller card, you can have it next Saturday, 4 p.m. NBA restaurant, baby. It's fantastic. That's right. All right. Good job on the classic card. I knew that one would go quick. This may be the easiest one we've done so far. Seriously. I think most every NBA fan should know who Reggie Miller is, no matter if he's classic or not. That's right. So let's see what else is going on here. Trevor J saying Ochai is going to be an amazing player. He's going to be one of those diamonds you find in a rock. Yeah, I believe that's true. I mean, we see Masai and Bobby's track record of people like Siakam, Anunoby, Van Vliet. Agbaji could be the next guy on that list that, like, in 5 years from now, he's demanding a huge contract because he just expanded his game and improved so much while he's in Toronto. I mean, that totally could be the path that's coming up for Agbaji. Right? I'm telling you, I'm serious. This could seriously be like this, and I think Trevor's right. I think he's right. Fiercey's here. Good morning, fam, and happy Saturday. Happy Saturday to you, Fiercey. I hope you're having a fantastic morning. I hope Fiercey Salcera Jr. is doing very well also. That's right. Alan Tam, bam, son. Coming back with the Thursday Think Tank. Echo. He's saying Team Canada Olympic basketball team, 12 players projected to represent our SGA. Wiggins, Murray, Brooks, Barrett, Powell, Olynyk, Dort, Nickel, Nebhard, Corey Joseph, and Zach Edey. So once again, this is the same group that Alan Tam put out on Thursdays. This is the same comment almost exactly. Now, there's been a little bit more that's come out about Andrew Wiggins and his status with Team Canada in the last 2 days. And Doug Smith basically is echoing what I echoed on Thursday, is that Andrew is invited to the camp, but he is no guaranteed spot on the team. He has to come there and impress Jordy and Rowan Barrett Sr. If he doesn't knock their socks off, if he doesn't give them every reason to not deny him, he will not make the team. I'm going to tell you that right now. Corey Joseph, I feel like, is a long shot. I don't even know if Corey Joseph's going to be playing in the NBA this year. I mean, I don't mind either one of these guys being on Team Canada. I'm not a hater to the point where I'm saying, no, Andrew Wiggins for sure. And also Corey Joseph, but I don't think these are going to be the names. I don't think they are. Nebhard, I will agree with. I think Nebhard's going to get added, and Murray too, for sure. But I don't know if those other two that you're saying, the older Canadian guys that have been around a little bit, like Corey Joseph, Wiggins, like Monique said the other day, rejected Team Canada in the past. And in some ways, I mean, if you want to set up a thing for attracting the best players to Team Canada, well, you want to make them respect the fact that it's an honor. And you want them to, like, take the advantage of it when they get the chance. Things like what Ben Mathurin's saying right now about being there, even though he's hurt, and showing interest and being involved goes a long way. And that's what I'm saying. So we want Team Canada, as the years go on, to be an attractive thing to young Canadians to want to do it in honor of their country and representing it on the biggest stages. It has to have a prestige to it. And if people don't respect it, if people kind of disregard it, if people ignore it, if people are like, nah, I'm too busy, I don't really want to do it, well, they shouldn't be considered. That's what I have to say about this. We don't need any half-assing on Team Canada. We need full ass on Team Canada. That's what I'm saying right there. And I'm not saying that Wiggins is half-assing. In some ways, he may have half-assed Team Canada in the past, but I don't think he's half-assing it right now. I think he's very serious, and he means what he says. He's going to try and make this team when they invite him to come in and try out for it. Well, he's got to try out for it. That's the thing. He's not on that list that's just going to get in for sure. Bam, son. Alan, you're awesome. All right, Fishy's saying great words of wisdom, Trevor. I know, I agree. Trevor's hitting it hard there. Commissioner J. I love it. Tommy Dookie, good morning to you, sir. Fiercely saying extremely happy for Ochai's engagement. Beautiful pictures shared on social media. I'm also looking forward to seeing his development. He will be a defensive beast. Yeah, I'm excited. It's weird because I feel like his defensive stuff is already his more powerful side of the ball. In some ways, much like RJ is such a polished offensive player, but he needs to work on his defense. I would say the reverse about Agbaji. That in some ways, Agbaji's defense is pretty solid. He can get better, trust me, and he will. But in some ways, the biggest growth that could happen with Agbaji could be on the offensive end. And that's the thing that's interesting to me. Now, the three's got to be consistent. If he gets better at attacking the rim and throwing it down, if he's more of a lob threat in certain ways, we're seeing the powerfulness of lob threats with Dallas right now in the playoffs. There's a couple different ways that Agbaji can expand his offensive game, and he'll be even more valuable. Trevor's saying Charlotte Hornets is the only team in the NBA with a black front office, from a black president, black general manager, assistant manager, and head coach. That's awesome. I love that. Also that this is only the second time in NBA Finals history where both the coaches that are facing off in the NBA Finals are black, Jason Kidd and Joe Mazzulla. So this is all really good stuff. Now, on the flip side of the coin, the Detroit Pistons have announced that they're parting ways with Troy Weaver, who's been the GM of that team. Now, Monty's getting paid so much. They ain't going to shake it up at coach at this point, but they're going to still shake up the Pistons in different places because it ain't been going well there in any kind of way. I wonder about Dwayne Casey with the news of Troy Weaver yesterday, because in some ways, Dwayne Casey was a Troy Weaver guy, and Dwayne Casey may be available now. That may be part of the reason why Dwayne was around Toronto near the end of the season, other than scouting our team for the Detroit Pistons. I would love to bring Casey back in the fold somehow. I've said this already this summer, that if Dwayne Casey is a free agent to be hired by any NBA team to come in any kind of capacity to anywhere, I want him to come back to Toronto. Masai, you've already worked with Dwayne. You know Dwayne really, really well. And he is a brain trust, and he is a certain kind of person that is a winner. And I give Dwayne Casey a lot of credit for the Raptors championship, even though he was not there to get the spoils. He built our franchise up to get to that point where Nick could take us to the championship 5 years ago. And Casey, I would love to circle back and be a part of the Raptors franchise if he is part of the people that are leaving with Troy Weaver out of Detroit right now. Yeah, very, very interesting maneuvers. Mike Brown signing a contract with the Kings, an extension today. That's fantastic. We heard earlier this week that they were apart on the numbers. Well, they came together, and they got it right now. So he's getting $4 million more a year than what he was making before for the Kings. And that's right. Honestly, I don't like how much the coaching carousel is going on around the NBA in the last two off seasons. I feel like a lot of coaches have been getting dismissed for wrongful reasons. And the ones that I feel like that are right now are Cleveland's coach. I feel like that was a big mistake, firing JB Bickerstaff. And, last season, there are a couple others. So seeing this in the other direction, that Mike Brown has done very well for Sacramento, and they're rewarding him and they're investing him, even if Sacramento kind of had a lackluster year this year. That's good, because overreacting to just a little bit of not success is a real detriment in the NBA at this point. People are hair trigger on firing coaches when they shouldn't really right now. Seriously, I think it's crazy. I mean, if you look at the Wizards know they ain't got no chance to get no other big name coach, or nobody's going to want to come coach them. So they just flipped the interim off of Brian Keefe in the last 24 hours because nobody's going to want to come and coach their team. They already know that. So they're just like, we just need to hire you, man, because we're calling people to just come and try and interview, and nobody's coming. That's probably what happened with Washington. I'm not going to lie. Seriously. Amit's here. Yo, good morning, y'all. Good morning, Amit Gaming. Tommy's saying, good morning. I don't know enough about Ochai. Tell me more. So much potential. He's an interesting guy. Of course, he's from Nigerian roots. His father moved here to the States and kind of hung out in Wisconsin a lot. That's where he met his mother. His mother was an athlete, and so his father was a pretty good athlete too. So yeah, it's interesting. He's been kind of a blue chip athlete coming up all along. But before, like I said, Tommy, he was kind of more well known for soccer, and he was kind of coming up in the soccer side of things. But then, boom, a growth spurt really put basketball in his face all of a sudden. So I wonder, once again, you think about players like Siakam, and Dennis, who's playing in professional soccer this week all of a sudden, which is really impressive, honestly. If this whole soccer connection with Agbaji is a special part of his athletic skills, is that he's a trained soccer player and that he's very, very good at playing the football. So, that's an interesting thing right there. Yeah, Tommy's got me on blast. I love it. I love to see it, Tommy. And the logo, it's very cool. Nako is here. In fact, y'all listen. My Instagram show, the 5-year anniversary of the Kensington Variety VIP Club, is being posted in the community tab of this YouTube channel. And y'all should watch these episodes. They're hilarious. They're going on during the finals right now. Like 5 years ago right now, the Raptors were playing the Warriors in the NBA Finals. And the last couple of episodes, Paul Pierce appears in the episode. So if there's any reason for y'all to watch my crazy, stupid show that I keep promoting at this point, watch it, because Paul Pierce is on the episode from yesterday and today. He's on 2 episodes in a row. And Nako appears in the one from today also, guys. So 5 years ago today, Gerald was at the convenience store with me, and he appears on that show in the middle of the championship finals with the Raptors. So if you want to see Nako the Nacho and Paul Pierce appear on the show 5 years ago during our championship run, check out the community tab. It's hilarious. Seriously, it's me just talking about what was happening in the series, how Steve Kerr said after the game 1 loss to the Raptors, we didn't realize how good they were. We didn't realize who they were. And I'm like, you're an idiot. You just coached your team all the way to the finals, and you're not scouting the team you're playing in the finals. You're a dumbass, Steve Kerr. And you deserve to lose game 1 against the Raptors in the Scotiabank Arena on that day because you had the arrogance not to scout your team before you played them. What the hell, Steve Kerr? You deserve to lose because of that. But yeah, Nako's on the show, and so is Paul Pierce. So definitely check it out. Paul Pierce is on the show. He is on the show. He's on the show 2 days in a row. Seriously. He's on the one before, too. All right, Nako's saying Masai made it sound like Ochai is part of the core. I've heard Ochai had a down year offensively with Utah. Yeah, I mean, I think he is. I think that, it's very tailor-made. I mean, there's weird synergy connections between Raptors at this point. Was the Team Canada connection between Olynyk and Barrett, whether it's the Kansas Jayhawk connection between Grady and Ochai. There are little hidden benefit, Emmanuel and RJ's friendship from New York. There are little hidden bonus synergies between Raptors that are on this team. And Ochai is one of those guys that has synergies with other guys on the team in the right kind of way. And I think this is true. I think that Ochai is a part of our future. That, people that may be speculating which Raptors are going to get traded, he's not one of them. He is not one of them. Unless it makes sense to improve the team in upgrading. I don't see Agbaji being somebody who gets traded this year. He's going to be a part of the Raptors for the future, I believe. James is here. Good to see James, a great Raptor freak, playing in our fantasy WNBA league. James, always good to see you, man. What's going on with you this morning? Ochai is going to be starting if Gary Trent leaves, I think. This is actually a really good point. That could be very well true. Now, here's a good question for you guys, and maybe we'll do the poll real quick. All right, let me see. We're going to start a poll. We're going to start a poll. We're going to start a poll. Who would you start at 2 next season? Ochai, Agbaji, or Grady Dick. If we had the option between those two guys, the 2 Kansas guys, next year, and Gary's gone, and we got to pick one of those 2 guys to start, who would you rather be starting for the Raptors with the barbecue yak? Who would you rather start, Agbaji or Dick? And tell me, and maybe you guys can write comments in for your reasoning, for your decision on either Ochai or Grady. So yeah, this is an interesting question, and we'll have to see. Yeah, let's see. Let's see. No. Let's see what else you guys are saying here. I made that poll. It's pretty cool. Let's see. G saying Ochai has OG potential, in my opinion. I agree. I agree with this. I mean, not on the same level. Now, see, I would say the difference between Ochai and OG is OG's he can stop everybody in the league. He can stop the centers too. I don't think Ochai can stop the fives. Like he'd have a hard time guarding Jokic. OG could because he's a little bit bigger and stronger. Now, on the flip side of things, I would say that Ochai is a better defender on guards than OG is. Does that make sense? Because he's a little bit quicker and he's a little bit more lateral and kind of moving around in those kind of ways. I mean, the comparisons to OG and Ochai are going to be there because they're going to be kind of similar roles going forward. That Anunoby was that guy for us before, where Agbaji will be him now. But like I said, he's a smaller, quicker version of OG, and it won't be the same kind of OG-itis. It'll be Ochai-itis. And yeah, we still have afflictions to put on opposing teams. Yeah, you got Ochai-itis. Yeah, you got your water cut off. Yeah, it's Ochai Plumbing now. It used to be OG Plumbing Company, where the man will come with a big wrench and cut the water off for the other team on their offense. Well, it's Ochai plumbing now. Yeah, there you go. There you go. James is saying RJ can play shooting guard if Ochai starts. Well, in some ways, they're interchangeable. It's kind of like one of those dubious 2-3 situations where, well, RJ's kind of the 2 or Ochai's the 3, but they're kind of both dubiously either one. I like this, though, James. I'm always a big proponent on using bigger guys lower on the positional chart, like starting big. Like if you play Jakob and Kelly and they're the 4 and the 5 and it slots Scotty at 3, hey, because that means we got a really talented, quick, big guy like Scott playing against smaller people at the 3 or the 2 even. We could go so big, put Scotty at 2 or 1. It doesn't matter. We can play Scotty at all 5 positions. So I'm always all about what James is saying and slotting good, big players at lower positions. Like I wanted to play OG at 2 his whole career when he played for the Raptors. I wanted OG at 2. I wanted Pascal at 3. I did not want Pascal at 4. And in some ways, I always like to be a bigger team in that kind of way, especially if you can get away with it because your big players are quick and skilled like they're smaller players. Like if OG and Pascal can guard 2s and 3s, we'll let them play 2 and 3. So if RJ can guard 2s, shooting guard. And they're flippable. It's flippable. You could say that Ochai is the shooting guard and RJ is a small forward if they're starting next to each other. But I like your comments, James. You're very astute on the things you're saying about Ochai in your last couple comments. Good morning to you, Andrew Gutierrez. Always good to see you, Andrew. It's been a little bit. And yeah, every morning, 9:30 a.m., I have not stopped. I will not stop. I took vacation and I didn't stop. And Andrew, it's good to see you. We'll be celebrating 1,000 streams in a row next Saturday. So I hope you keep tuning in. Always good to see you, Andrew. Tom's saying 1,000, 4:30 p.m., June the 8th at NBA Restaurant, 100%. There you go. Monique is birthday party for Mo, and also 1,000 streams on that particular day, which is kind of crazy. We're definitely going to give that birthday shine to Monique at the birthday party, but also we'll celebrate in the morning a Share the Love of 1,000 streams in a row. Yeah, Saturday Share the Love Club next week. 1,000 streams. Carlos saying, good morning, Raptor Freak family. Good morning to you, Carlo JS, a great Raptor Freak. Nako saying, OG's potential seems generous. OG is probably the 3rd best player on the Knicks. I think he can be starting caliber 3 and D, highish level role player. Yeah. I mean, OG is OG. OG is really kind of near the top of his ceiling. Now, he could increase himself more consistently on the offensive end still over time. But I think that the way he is and the power and the impact he has on games is at a high level right now. The feelings that Knicks fans had after OG showed up and how much they started winning, well, that's the OG effect. And, he's going to be like that for a few years now. So it's maybe smart for New York to invest in him and keep him around. Now, it's weird because both Siakam and Anunoby have weird things going on with them where they're dubious about their future. They're doing something that Emmanuel is not doing. And I appreciate Emmanuel for not being like them. I know it's very likely that Siakam is just going to stay in Indiana. But the way that him and his agent Todd are playing it is they're leaving it dubiously open that he could go any which way. And that, in some ways, is unsettling for Pacers Nation. And OG, the same thing. New York fans, you can't just say, oh, it's a slam dunk. We're going to re-sign OG Anunoby. You have no idea if you will. And this is the exact reason why Masai Ujiri and Bobby Webster traded these two guys this year from the Raptors this season because we had no guarantees that these guys were going to be sticking around and we were going to be investing money in them. So, yeah, that's not for sure. I'm pretty positive Emmanuel Quickley is going to be back on the Raptors next year. But I am less positive about OG and Pascal for those two teams. Yeah, this is going to be some people that are going to be out there with money that may be like, yeah, you were great for the Pacers, Pascal. But how would you like to come and play for blanked out team name right now that I'm saying that I didn't say instead? Yeah, I mean, that could happen. Seriously, that could happen. Yeah. Let's see. Monique saying step closer to the draft every day. That's right. All kinds of stuff. This is a weird dead period because they're taking a break before the finals start on Thursday. So I have no ref report. I have no games to react to. It's just we're in this weird zone, but before they start the finals, they're trying to get the teams as healthy as possible so that we can have the best finals. And that's really they're kind of trying to help Porzingis get healthy to be back. Yeah. I want to say this because I just noticed this yesterday and I did not comment on this yet. I really appreciate the NBA for giving the Eastern Conference MVP award for the finals to Jaylen Brown. I hate how they tout Jason Tatum over Jaylen Brown so much that it really casts a shadow over Jaylen Brown. I feel like Jaylen Brown's been more important to the Boston Celtics' success in the last 5 years than Jason Tatum. But for some reason in the hierarchy of golden boys in the NBA, Jason Tatum's getting all the accolades and the shine and the media bullshit. I've often said Jaylen Brown is more important to the Celtics than Jason Tatum. And I really appreciate them giving Jaylen Brown more of a shine and credit for it by giving him the finals MVP for the Eastern Conference Finals. It's just right. It's just right. In some ways, we could look at it as like Siakam and Van Vliet and their dubiousness about all-stars and different awards getting things. It kind of went back and forth where Van Vliet was an all-star one year and Siakam was an all-star one year. It's kind of the same with DeRozan and Lowry in the past. Well, I feel like Brown has been shafted to a degree in getting his credit for what Celtics have accomplished in the last few years. And I'm so happy to see that they didn't just give it to Jason Tatum because he's just the hierarchy guy above. But the weird thing about it is a lot of the ESPN heads are talking about how Jason Tatum is maybe not getting as much respect from the NBA overall because they gave it to Jaylen Brown. Either way, it's stupid. And give Jaylen Brown his just due. And whatever Stephen A. Smith said about Jaylen Brown in the last week or so, you're an idiot. And I stand with Isaiah Thomas and Jaylen Brown on that whole controversy. As far as you're going to talk about anonymous sources, Stephen A. Smith, well, you might as well just tell us who it is. And he's like, I will not tell you who it is. All right, let's see. Let's see what else you guys are saying here. All right, let's see. Fiercely saying good morning to Andrew and Full Ass. Yeah, Full Ass got Reggie Miller. Very close. Nako saying, for the record, I put in Reggie Miller, but the timer didn't let me put it in time. That's some of the things. I mean, I guess in some ways the timer is something you're going to have to navigate with the classic card of the day. So if you see Trevor's comment, and I'm about to read Trevor's comment, you can kind of gauge, okay, he's going to do the classic card soon. And I better let my timer run out and just be open so I can just type it in right there. But Gerald had written something, and he was on the timer, so he couldn't do it. This is kind of reminding me of one of the last challenges on the last season of Survivor. If you didn't catch the ball, you had to wait for it, Gerald. I'm sorry. That's just part of the game. It's just part of the game. I'm sorry, my guy. Yeah. Full Ass is making a very important comment here, and this is right. I'm going to give him a dunk for it. Cheryl Miller is better than this player right here. This is Reggie Miller. And Reggie will tell you this to your face if you told him. He's like, my sister's better than me. Cheryl was way better than me. She kicked my butt. When I was a kid, my older sister kicked my ass my whole life. And Cheryl Miller is better than Reggie Miller. And that's exactly right. Kareem spitting facts. And spitting facts on this channel will get you dunks. 145 bus. Mr. Delano Bent. That's right. Let's see. Fiercely saying, oh no, Nako. Oh no. It is what it is. It is what it is. Yeah. You win some, you lose some, Nako. That's right. Tom saying, Nako, you should sub up. Laugh out loud. Oh, it's on subscriber mode. No, it's not even about that, Tom. It's about the delay. I have so you guys can't just spam comments in. There's a minute between comments. And he wrote a comment, and then I did the classic card, and he wasn't off the timer yet. That's what it was. Fiercely saying, I meant to say welcome to Andrew. I'm on a timer too. Will squeeze in as much as I can. Laugh out loud. Dwayne Casey should come back with us indeed. He has the eye for talent and development. I agree with this. I wonder how much Case was involved in the whole bench mob coming around together. And I wonder too of like the success of 905 while Casey was head coach and the unsuccess of 905 while Nick Nurse was coach is something we could recapture if Casey's around. That's what I'm saying, Masai and Bobby. Really seriously, strongly consider hiring Dwayne Casey back. Seriously, this would be smart for you guys to do. Seriously, I think there is a connection, Fiercey. I think you're right. Most saying Jack Armstrong said the same thing at the end of the season about Ochai's threes. Yeah, I don't want to be ripping off Jack, but if him and I are coming to the same conclusions about Ochai Agbaji's game and what could be possible, well, I'm in good company. I'm in good company. Hello. David's saying Agbaji's going to be better than OG. I mean, that's tough. OG is such a high level, and what he does so well. I mean, I'm serious. I feel like they have just disregarded him in the wrong ways the last his whole career. Seriously, he started to get more shine because he's on New York now. And, you know, him only having one second team all NBA defense in his career so far is a travesty. It's an absolute travesty. That man should have won Defensive Player of the Year already by now, if not have been on at least three first team all defensive in his NBA career. Seriously, if he had not been playing in Toronto, he would have gotten that already. You know, jackasses like Rudy Gobert, who can't seem to stop anybody, have multiple Defensive Players of the Year. Where the hell is OG Anunoby's Defensive Player of the Year NBA? Seriously, you're going to give him one now that he's on the Knicks. I know you will, but you're way behind on giving him the proper due respect and accolades for what he does as a defensive player in this league. And I know Knicks Nation would agree with me very much. Raptors Nation has been saying this for years. But, you know, if Agbaji can get anywhere near him, David, I will be very, very, very happy. Very, very happy. Fiercely saying, my bad. I think my computer was lagging. You're right, Tom. Subscribers can post whenever. Oh, that's interesting. There you go. There's another reason to subscribe to the channel. You guys can write in whenever you want. There's a perk right there. That's pretty cool. I didn't even realize that. Tommy's got it 100% to Fiercey. And look at that Agbaji with the diamonds around him. I'm not totally sure what the emoticon language that Tom is speaking right there is. It looks a little bit foreign, like alien. Like he may be speaking the language of Wemby on that one. That looks like Wemby hieroglyphics, alien hieroglyphics. David's saying Dick for the spacing to start the game and Agbaji to be a monster off the bench. Okay. I like this reasoning. So David has voted for Grady in our poll, and he's saying it's because he wants to start the game off with some really good spacing. Well, if Gary's not on the team and we need a shooter to replace Gary in that spot, maybe Grady is the starter. Maybe he is. You know, the beginning of the season and halfway through last season, I would have said Grady is nowhere near ready to start for our team, but he had to in the second half, and he showed a capableness, and he showed a very good consistency for the most part when he played a lot of minutes in the second half of the season. So I may have been against Grady Dick starting this upcoming season, maybe to halfway point of this year that just happened. But after seeing the full complete season of Grady this year, I'm okay with him starting next year. If that is what Darko wants to do, I really am. I think that your logic is sound, David. You want to get good spacing on the floor right from the start. And maybe Agbaji is a defensive pit bull that comes off the bench and they sick him on whoever they need to slow down and analyze in that way. I mean, I could make a case either way for starting Ochai or Grady. And the reasons, it could also be dependent on matchup and the team we're playing that night. That maybe we need this spacing and shooting prowess from Grady, or we need somebody to clamp somebody right away with Agbaji out there. And that may make things very versatile for Darko with how he decides what he's doing with his starting lineup or his personnel, is having those different tools and looks from different Jayhawks. Yeah, I like your reasoning, though. He's saying Dick for the spacing to start the game and Ochai to be a monster off the bench. He spammed it twice. Let's see. Trevor's saying most athletes who play soccer and football will always turn out to be very good basketball players with very strong upper body systems. It's that strength. That's interesting. Well, I will speculate and Brian Windhurst this a little bit. All right. Soccer is a weird sport where you use only your feet. You cannot use your arms. You cannot use your hands. So soccer players are going to be very good at running. First of all, they got to run up and down the field all over the place like crazy. That is a crazy big field. And almost all they do is run for like 90 minutes. So the conditioning of Siakam as a football player and Agbaji too. Agbaji was one of those players this year that didn't seem to get tired too much, and he was everywhere and he was all over the place. That correlation could be made between the football pitch and the basketball court. That the soccer players are just built up more on their lower legs and their ability to run and not get tired. And I mean, Siakam and Agbaji are great examples of this. Now, the other thing I would say is, maybe part of the reason why Trevor's saying is true is because, well, soccer limits you from not using your arms, but in basketball, you can. So maybe it's easier. I don't know. I'm just pulling straws here. It could be that the ability to use your arms in basketball, but you're a soccer player and you're more used to footwork and thinking about your feet. Well, you have that footwork mindset, but you're adding the arms to it. But maybe the feet and the footwork was already natural because you played soccer before. Yeah, there's a lot to this. And I think this is very true. We've kind of touched on this subject in the past before. I remember Logical Raptors Fanatic bringing up athletes that play multiple sports and the gifts and the bonuses they get from the diversity and what they're doing athletically. I mean, Dennis Schroeder playing soccer over in Germany right now ain't a bad thing. Seriously, it ain't a bad thing at all. Nako saying, I don't think Ochai has the potential Grady does, but Ochai is a little more polished right now. I don't know if that's true, Nako. I really don't. In some ways, they're comparable. They really are. They're drafted right around the same place. Grady was 13th and Ochai was 14th in the draft. They're different flavors of ice cream. But in some ways, the way that they're going to grow into things, and maybe that Grady will get more shine and more acclaim because he's more of an offensive-sided player. And people value that more in the media in the NBA and fans do too. But Agbaji could be just as important and integral in certain ways as Dick. It's just that Dick, because he does things offensively, is going to get more shine and maybe more attention. So we'll have to see. I don't know. In some ways, I could see them being very equal. Maybe it was like Grady will look like he's more important or made more steps and leaps in his career, but Ochai on the down low may have just been just as good. It's just that we don't look at the things that he does really well and put them on spotlight. So G saying Ochai is very athletic and maybe a more Norm OG type. Grady is a different style, very high IQ shooter. Yeah, and I don't want to downplay Grady as a defender either because his hustle and the way he gets after stuff is very good. And I love the fact that he has a very high IQ and he's reading the floor constantly. And he really doesn't waste time getting and scooting around to different places where he needs to be in a very good opportune moment for whether it's getting a hand in there and getting a steal or a deflection or getting in there, getting rebounds, or even seeing where a guy may be too open and he's covering up in space to stop somebody from getting an open shot. So I'm not going to diss either one of them for the other side of the ball that they're not as strong on, whether it's Ochai for his offense or Grady for his defense, because I feel like they're both very good at the other side of the things that they're not as known for. Yeah. James is saying, can't wait for the draft. I want to see who Masai picks. And this is a great segue for the next thing I want to talk about right now. Thanks, James. ESPN came out yesterday with another mock draft. There was news that came out that the Pelicans are going to go ahead and defer their mid-teen pick to the Lakers because, I mean, all the signs that this draft is absolute shit are coming right out in front of everybody right now. People are scrambling to get rid of picks. People are trying to move every which way. They've waffled on who is going to be the first round pick recently. They were saying Alex Sarr earlier in the week, but now they're saying it's Zachariah. It's a weird draft, and everybody's doing weird things like they don't value anything. In some ways, the NBA may have said, "Oh, let's let Atlanta get the number one pick because this draft is just stupid." But it's so bad that the Pelicans don't want to even keep their pick that's near ours in the middle of the teens. And they went ahead and said, yeah, we're supposed to give you guys a pick. We're going to go ahead and defer it now, Lakers. Here, you get our pick this year because this year sucks. That's really what's going on. But on that note, with what James said, the new mock draft has come out. Let's see what ESPN's saying about the Raptors and other people that we care about in the draft right now. Now, the top person I'm looking at right now, as I said, is they switched the number one pick that they think that the Atlanta Hawks will take to Zachary Rizaker of France from Alex Sarr. So they're waffling on that. And now they're saying Alex Sarr will go to the Wizards in the second pick. Now, Zach Edey has not changed in his position on ESPN's draft, mock draft, as far as what Jonathan Gavini he is saying. He's saying that Zach is still very firmly at 15, drafted by Miami Heat on his mock draft. And they're saying that his fit beside Bam is very interesting. I hope you're wrong. You know, in some ways, if Zach can fall to 19th, I think we'll take him. Seriously. If Zach Edey is available at 19, the Raptors will take him. I'm pretty positive about that. I think they should. And now if they have Zach Edey on a no draft list for some reason, and they do not want to have anything to do with him, I'll respect that because there's stuff they may know that I don't. But I'm saying right now, Messiah and Bobby, if Zach is available when we are drafting at 19, take him. If he falls all the way down there, somehow, some way, take Zach. No brainer. Just do it. Just get Zach Edey in a Raptors jersey. Now, what they're saying right now for us on the latest mock draft at 19 is that we will take Keyshawn George, shooting guard, small forward of Miami. And the reasoning that Givani is giving is that we were a really bad three-point shooting last year, and that Keyshawn George is one of the better three-point shooters from this past in this draft coming up. So they're trying to put Keyshawn George on us. Now, I think he has some connections with some of the Raptors or something. I'm not totally sure. I have not looked at him. I don't really know anything about him, so I can't really say whether I like him or not. Once again, I'm not really looking for a wing or a smaller player. I'm looking for a long arm monster. I'm looking for a center. I'm looking for a power forward. I'm looking for somebody who's going to help us with rebounding and defense, and hopefully maybe even shot blocking. So I'm not real keen on their choice of Keyshawn George, but if he's a really, really good three-point shooter, maybe. But I don't know. I'd have to scout him. Looking further and deeper in this mock draft by them, they have Kelly Ware at 23 at this point. Now, see, I would almost rather get him at 19 than get this George guy. I don't know why Ware is so much lower, because when I saw him, he impressed me right away. And I see some stuff in him where he could be a replacement for Koloko that we need, because Koloko was supposed to be that guy. Well, Kelly Ware could be that guy. And that's why I'm saying I would much rather the Raptors draft Kelly Ware or Zach Edey than Keyshawn George. So, yeah, they've got him at 23, drafted by Milwaukee Bucks right now. Missy, right after him for the New York Knicks. He's another center that's acceptable to me as far as possibly coming to us. They've got Bobby Clintman at 26, and Kyle Flipowski is at 22 for his Suns. Another interesting thing about this mock draft is they've got us drafting Tyler Smith in the 31st pick and the first pick of the second round. And that is this forward from the G League Ignite. We did scout him about a month ago, and I was impressed with him. He had nice length. He had some good scoring ability. In some ways, I know Cowboys really big on Ryan Dunn, but they have him falling down a few spots to 34 by the Portland Trailblazers at this point. I don't know. I want to go size, especially if we're going to get a three-point shooter with the 19th pick. We're going to need to definitely get a long arm monster with the first pick in the second round draft. So I don't mind this Tyler Smith draft mock projection that they put on here. Now, another interesting thing is they've got Bronny moving up in this draft. Bronny wasn't even on the draft. And I really do feel like ESPN and Jonathan Givani are trying to do a solid for LeBron. It could be very well that there's a favors game going on, because there's a lot of press coming out trying to say that Bronny is good and that this isn't nepotism bullshit that's going on right here. But it is. We know it is. And ESPN moving him up in their mock draft from yesterday is kind of funny. They got him at 52 now with the Warriors drafting him. Now, there's a weird alternate universe where LeBron goes to the Warriors next season because his son is drafted by the Warriors. That's crazy. In some ways, I feel like the person that wrote this is a Warriors fan, and they seen how bad the Warriors were this year, and they're scared, and they're like, well, let's just draft Bronny, and LeBron will come to the Warriors and save us. I think that I get that feeling of what that is. So very interesting mock draft done by ESPN for yesterday. And yeah, they switched things around a bit from the last one. They did. Yeah. Thank you, James, for bringing that up. Yeah, I want to see who they draft. And I give you a little more insight on how I'm looking at the landscape right there. Tom saying, I'd like to see Ochai like a potential Aaron Gordon. His game has evolved. Well, Aaron Gordon's a much taller player. And in some ways, he has different dimensions to his game than Ochai does. Aaron Gordon's more of a lengthy, kind of long guy. Agbaji's more of a strong guy. I think it's really interesting how Agbaji's got great leaping ability, and he's so compact and strong. He's very strong. Like in some ways, he may be like we maybe should be saying that Ochai Agbaji is a hybrid of Fred VanVleet and OG Anunoby. Think about that, Tom, because we know how Fred, with his upper body and his hands and his arms swiping everywhere, how he does things with steals and even strips and blocks, according to the NBA blocks. Agbaji has that kind of shoulders and arms like a Fred VanVleet in strength. And if he could learn kind of some of the Kyle Lowry, Fred VanVleet swiping stuff and be like that size, that's the difference. So I think that's true, that Ochai Agbaji is kind of like a hybrid in some ways of the defensiveness of OG and Fred, like in the middle of them. Does that make sense what I just said? David saying Brown is much better than Tatum. I agree with you 100%. And I appreciate the NBA for giving some accolades to Jaylen Brown. I really do. Stephen A. Smith is an obnoxious moron. There you go, David. You want a dunk? You got a dunk. David has got a dunk. Can y'all remember the last time I've given a strike? I don't think I've given any strikes in like forever. 106 for David. 106.5. Your classical network. Brahms, Handel, Beethoven. 24/7. If you want Mozart, you can find it here. 106.1 classical vibe. Yeah, there you go. 106. Fiercely saying yes at David. Absolutely, Brown is better. Not sure if he's worth 300 million, but he's good. Well, I'll say that Jaylen Brown is worth 300 million because he's going to start Black Wall Street up again. And thank God. I think that's fantastic. The ideas and the things he's doing. That's part of what Stephen A. Smith was trying to say, not so eloquently or clearly, is that because Jaylen Brown is so political, he has a harder time getting marketed and easy by the NBA. And I'd much rather Jaylen Brown be who he is and be political and stand for what he stands for, because I respect it so much. He's one of the most likable Celtics on that team. I actually really like Jaylen Brown, and I hate the Celtics. I absolutely detest them. So I think that he's an amazing person. He's a great person. He's a fantastic NBA player. And I'm so happy that he got a little shine out of the shadow of his teammate Tatum. Yeah, I say that every single time. Amit saying, oh, also, Lex, I checked the last time. I don't know. Maybe you didn't update it there. Anyways, just thought you should know. Well, what I do is I go back and I add it on, and I do edit and update it. I'm pretty sure I did add your totals for the last one. But you got to remember, I don't know if you won the last one. I know you've won one since I've been back in Toronto in the last couple days. But I believe Isaac won yesterday, is what I'm saying. I don't know. I've tried to be very diligent about adding the classic card score immediately after I finish my stream. But you should be right around like 300 points behind Fiercey is what it should be. Let's see. What else is going on? David's saying no basketball player is worth 300 million. It's ridiculous. Well, the TV contract makes it that way. I know that sounds ridiculous, but let's not be anti-player. Realize that money may look like a lot, David, but the money that the owner's making is much crazier. So, yeah, I'm with Cool Cat on this argument. I'm not going to derisively say players shouldn't be making how much they make, because they generate so much money. And the amount that they make is the tip of the iceberg compared to what the owner is making. So if you want to get mad at someone, go get mad at the owners, not at the players, especially if the player has gotten the owner to agree to pay him that much, because that's really kind of where it is. I mean, I know it sounds ridiculous, but this is the money they're generating, the NBA players. This is the money they're generating. Amit saying from yesterday's card of the day. I'm pretty sure I did it, but if I didn't, I will go back and check it for sure. I was kind of in a hurry to go do something yesterday, so there is a possibility that I didn't go and add it in. So I'll make sure I'll go check it, Amit. I'll go check it. He's saying, I got to clean up a little bit. My grandmother's coming tomorrow and we got to clean for her. All right, Amit. You do what you got to do. Peace out, y'all. Hope you have a great day. Right back at you, Amit. And where he's at, it's 5:30 in the afternoon right now. Yeah. Mo's saying, hey, Lex, when you brought up Andrew Wiggins, were you talking about his wife? It's talking about his with S and Amit because he also did one with them. I don't know. I don't pay attention to S at all. I do not follow him. In some ways, I followed him for a while back on Twitter, but since he's been kind of doing more shows and stuff, I don't watch him. I don't watch him. In some ways, I really respect Samson and Oren and a lot of those guys that do stuff, but he's not one of the ones that I really respect because in some ways, some of the stuff he's saying doesn't make sense to me. And so I tuned him out. I just don't listen to him. I don't listen to a lot of the people anymore. In fact, I barely listen to Samson Folk. I don't follow him anymore. And it really is because I don't want to copy people. I don't want to sound like people. If I talk about the same subjects at the same time as people, well, it's just because that's the subject of the time at this time. So yeah, now I have no idea what S is doing or Amit Man. I'm not following them. I don't watch their stuff. So yeah, I have no idea. It's just the topic of the week is Andrew Wiggins and Team Canada. Doug Smith is talking about it. So a lot of us other people are too. David's saying, I'm on my phone. Anything weird like spam is a misclick. Okay. It's all good. So you did a double post and it's not a big deal. All right, let's keep going. Mo's saying Scotty Barnes is expected to get the bag this coming July per Doug Smith. Yeah. 260 million US. This may be part of the reason why Scotty's living the high life and so smiling because he knows he's about to get paid. And this is the thing. In the beginning, when he was on Twitch with us, he complained that he was poor, he had no money, that he wasn't really doing that great. A lot of the money he had gotten in his rookie year had to go towards like paying off debt in his family and also getting things on up on the ground for people like his mother and making sure she has a new house and a new car and stuff like that. So he really didn't have a whole lot of money after his rookie year because he spent so much in places where he had to because he had to. So now when he hits this big milestone of the next contract after his rookie contract or the extension that makes him max out, yeah, he's in good shape. And listen, this is important to Scott. I know it is. But also, it is still the loyalty and the love that he shares with the city of Toronto, the Raptors, Masai Ujiri, and his teammates and the whole culture that we're building here too. His coach, Coach Rajakovic, also too. So I'm proud of Scott, and yes, he's going to get paid. This is a no-brainer. This is a slam dunk. So Doug Smith trying to say, oh, if they don't do this, they're idiots because they let Fred and Pascal go for this to happen. And the designated franchise player of the Raptors is Scotty Barnes, so he will get paid. And I told him myself on Twitch in the beginning. I said, Scott, don't worry. Toronto's going to take care of you. We're going to pay you as much as we can every single time we can pay you. You are going to get paid the max every single time. And we're going to try and keep you here in Toronto. So don't you worry. I told him that specifically. I said that to him in a comment on his Twitch in the past. So it's as expected. And as soon as these opportunities to re-up Scotty to the max are happening, we're going to do them. It's a no-brainer. It's like Masai said, the hardest part of this whole process is getting a player of the caliber of Scotty. They don't grow on the trees. They don't come around all the time. And if you can land one, well, you better take care of them and keep them around. And that's what we got to do. Yeah. David's saying, hey, maybe you can do that one stream. Remember when we did the wing flavors for our team? Maybe we could do the same thing for a new roster with ice cream flavors. That's not a bad idea at all, David. Maybe I will do 31 flavors of Baskin Robbins with the Raptors this season coming up. That's not a bad idea at all, David. The wing menu was fun. Scotty Barnes, buffalo wings. OG Ananobi, plain. No sauce. Just absolutely plain, no breading, just wing. Pascal Siakam was spicy jalapenos wings, like very, very spicy wings. Yeah. Yeah, that was a cool one. That's in the archive. If you guys want to see the wing menu, just put it in our search it on the Raptor Freak channels menu, and you can find the wing menu that we had that one time. That was cool. Maybe I will do the ice cream one. That's a great idea, David. Fiercely saying, I love OG, but must admit, Ochai is more of an offensive threat. He's not polished yet, but he creates more offense. I don't know if this is true, though, Fiercey. I mean, OG's more further along, and it's not really totally fair to compare Anunoby to Agbaji in this department because we got to think about where OG was 2 years into his career because Ochai's only been in the NBA for 2 years now. He'll be entering his third year this year. And in some ways, if you think about where OG was after the championship year, well, be fair to Agbaji and say that. I say an Anunoby is way more well-polished offensive player than Agbaji right now. And he's worked really hard to get to this point. But it's just that he's further along his career. He's older. And that's part of it right there. David's saying, where's Cowboy anyway? Haven't seen him around. Hope he's okay. I bet you, the weather's gotten nicer, David. And he's probably in a very busy period for his job. And it could very well be he's on site or doing different things. I don't know what's going on with Cowboy. We wish him well. And y'all, ta-da. Ta-da Services. Call him. We can find out where he is right now. 647-833-6844. Call and ask for Bradley. And that's where we'll find out where he is. I'm sure he's all right. We love you, Bradley. Cowboy, we will see you soon, I'm sure. Tom's saying, I like that Fred VanVleet OG hybrid comparison for OG. Yeah, he could be a great thief. Yeah, he's got strong hands. He's got those shoulders. And in some ways, I think that the hybrid between OG and Fred is an accurate description for Ochai. Now, I don't want to say everybody's the same and everything, but some of those traits that I was just saying before, they just make sense. There you go. Tommy's got the hand on the ball right there. And then he's got is that a Houston Rocket? No, that's Superman. Faster than a speeding bullet or a rocket locomotive. All right, let's see. Fiercely saying, rooting for Scotty to get the bag, but I'm glad he is well advised and gets alternate money streams via ads, that condo project, his alleged involvement in the WNBA team, etc. I don't think he's actually an owner of the WNBA team. I think he just went there to support basketball in Toronto. Now, they never said in the press that he is like Drake and Kyle, that he invested. It could be that he doesn't have the money yet to do it, that he's got to get this bag that we're talking about just a couple minutes ago. And then maybe he has big enough money to actually be an owner for something like that. No, he just went to support Larry Tannenbaum and basketball in Toronto. And that's why he was there. He's not like Lowry and Drake. He's not an investment on there. Now, he's an investment on that condo for sure that you brought up. He's definitely on that. And he's making a little money on his Twitch subscriptions. Probably not. But he's making a lot of money from his endorsements with Subway and other people like that. You know what? Let's go look at the Instagram stories since you brought it up. And there is new stuff of him out in about in China. First, we got Emmanuel Quickly. He's been working out a lot at the Explorers gym. I'm not sure what team that is. It's like probably from his past. I don't know if that's actually, is that a Kentucky gym? I don't know. There's some guy dancing in the gym, and he's saying, is he dead serious right now? Because he's being goofy. So Emmanuel's got the big Twitch matchup, tomorrow with We the North versus East Side Allegations. And, well, he's still getting in his real time on the court in his work with that. He's celebrating that Coach Bryant, his friend, is getting interviewed for the Cleveland job. Doesn't mean that he has it yet, but he's just happy to see that a coach friend of his is getting considered. Miles Burns always posting dramatic pictures of himself playing basketball. We hope you do great this year, Miles, for the 905 and kick some butt. Show that athleticism. Keep shooting and get your shot percentage up this year and be a more focal point for the 905 this year's season. Who knows? Mess around, you might find out that you get called up to the NBA. Precious Achua's got a nice bottle of red, it looks like, in wherever he is right now. Thad Young, interesting stuff happening with Thad Young. Thad Young is, of course, very intensely involved in Thad Young Jr.'s development and training right now this summer. It looks like Thad Young Jr. is doing more extensive weight training at this point because he is looking like he's bulking up. He's at an age where he's starting to put on some real muscle. Well, they're practicing, and Thad Young Jr.'s friend talked trash to Thad Young. He fell into a trap. He's been kind of saying some of the dumbass stuff that Twitter people say all the time, that Thad's too old. Thad doesn't belong in the NBA anymore. And this kid said it to Thad's face on the court. Well, you know what Thad did? Shakina documented it. He went out there and destroyed that young man on the court. He said, "Oh, I'm too old. Let me show you something. I'm going to take you to the woodshed." And he took that youngster out there and he taught him a lesson, apparently. And then apparently he was so like, you youngsters need more of a lesson. He taught a lesson to Thad Young Jr. too. He took him to school too. So Thaddeus Young Sr. was teaching youngsters to respect oldsters yesterday. And it's pretty hilarious. People keep saying Thad Young's too old to be in the NBA. MFer, you never even were close to the NBA. So what do you know about what it takes to be in the NBA? I think Thad Young knows pretty good because he survived in it since 2007. So you go ahead and tell me that Thad Young doesn't belong in the NBA or he's too old. Yeah, you go ahead and tell me because I don't believe you. And he told those youngsters by taking it to them yesterday on the practice court. So there you go. Thad Young Jr., pick better friends that will respect your father, is what I'm saying. Jordan Wara is still back in Louisville at his alma mater, getting the workouts in with some of his old college coaches and old college alma mater friends. So good for you. And he's also out on the golf course at the University of Louisville Golf Club. So get those links in, Jordan Wara. Slim Duck still working with everybody's uncle and Quincy Guerriere. Yeah, we're getting posts of Slim Duck and some intense workouts this past week. And he is still showing himself in Raptors gear on the pictures. I'm telling you, Chris is actually not a free agent this summer. He's under contract for next season. And the fact that everybody's just already decided that Chris Boucher is not going to be on our team next year, I think they're wrong. I think they are absolutely wrong. And that Chris is still going to be on our team next year. Seriously. So don't get upset about Boucher and his possible departure this summer ahead of time because it may not happen. Seriously. Mr. New York City is working out hard wherever he is. I think he's down in Miami now at this point. He's been kind of jumping around between Toronto, Atlanta, New York, and Miami a bit in the last couple days and last couple weeks. But he's putting in an intense workout. Yeah, that's the University of Miami logo on the wall. He's saying that we're going to get better today. There you go. I like that. He's showing the balcony view of the apartment that he's at, I guess, down in Miami also. So, yeah, you go. And he's also celebrating Kyrie Irving. Marquise is a huge fan of Kyrie. And if anything, the Mavs getting to the finals is putting more of a spotlight on the greatness of Kyrie Irving. And I like that. I like that a lot. Of course, Luka's going to get his kudos and stuff. But Kyrie really is a big part of what the Mavs are doing right now. And in some ways, as much as I deride Kyrie Irving in the past for some of the things he's done, I'm actually really a big fan of his at this point. It's really weird. If you had told me that at this point in 2024, I'm a fan of James Harden and Kyrie Irving, I would have laughed at you. But the past year, in the turn of events with James Harden with the Sixers and Kyrie Irving and what he's doing now, I've really gained a lot of respect for both gentlemen in weird ways. I don't know why. And maybe I'm crazy. Charles Oakley is very interesting on his Instagram. Old Oak is criticizing the inside the NBA crew, Ernie Johnson, Shaquille O'Neal, Kenny Smith, and Charles Barkley for having Kyrie on at the post game after they won against Minnesota Timberwolves in the Western Conference Finals. They had him on, and they're two-faced. They're trying to kiss his ass and talk all nice to him, but they bash him and they talk trash to him. This is what Oakley said specifically. Y'all get on TV and talk down on a young man who always does what's best for him and his family, then have him on and not apologize to him. Give the young man his flowers for being a great baller, great teammate, more importantly, always being himself. And that's him adding Shaq, NBA on TV, Stephen A. Smith, Charles Barkley, Kenny Smith, Ernie Johnson. And he's standing up for Kyrie Irving. Charles Oakley. Very interesting. We the North 2K is posting. They're coming up soon. Big matchup this weekend. Y'all really dropping the matchup later today. Check it out. We the North 2K. Emmanuel Quickley's 2K team is going to be playing a team tomorrow, and it'll be live on Twitch. You can watch it yourself. Javon Freeman Liberty is celebrating THT, Talon Horton Tucker's Academy. I guess JFL is going to be at THT's Academy. Let's see. What else do we got on here? Is there anything else of note? No, not really. There's your Instagram check for today with what's going on. Not a whole lot from Scotty on this past day. He's really is enjoying the camp. And he did put out a post about him being in China and playing, practicing and playing with the Chinese guys in the camp that he's at in China right now. Very, very cool stuff by Scott, world traveler. All right, let me see. Is there anything else that I forgot to talk about? Oh, guess what, guys? We had a birthday today. June the 1st is actually former Raptors GM Brian Colangelo's birthday. So happy birthday to Brian Colangelo, who is turning, I believe he's turning 59 today. 59 years old, Brian Colangelo. Yeah, that's a pretty big birthday in the history of the Raptors. Brian Colangelo wasn't a totally horrible GM for the Raptors during the Bosch and Bargnani kind of era. So yeah, that's what we're looking at there. All right, Fiercey's got my cutoff. I appreciate that. As long as I don't get over 2 hours, I'm good. Fiercey's saying, good point for Ochai, still young in his career. It's a big part of it. OG's more polished, and in some ways, we're starting to see OG get near his ceiling with offense. But I don't know what the ceiling is for Ochai. I have no idea. Fiercey's saying, Cowboy was there this week. I remember Lex plugging Tada. Yeah, he's been around. It's just I think he's quite busy at this time of year. Fiercely saying, I unsub from Dennis's Twitch channel. Mostly speaks German. I can't understand shit. Yeah, I still follow him right now, and when I watch him, it's really hard. It is really for his German fans, and that's fine. In some ways, it's like Dennis isn't a Raptor anymore, so we don't have to talk about him over abundantly like we had this past year for much longer. I just think there's things of note like him playing professional soccer this week. We should talk about him because he is a former Raptor, and we do want to represent and respect those people. For instance, Bismack Biyombo has a new documentary out about his life. So even though he's a Grizzly or whatever team he's on right now, we need to respect Bismack as a one-year Raptor who's a cult favorite, honestly, in Raptor lore. He has a cool life story documentary out called Bismack. So check that out. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. David's saying, have a good day, Lex. See you, fam. Back at you, David. Love you, man. And Monique, love you too. W Stream, Lex, W Vibes. Keep at it always. Good times. Good times approaching. Go Raptors for life. Raptor Freak Family Crew strong. That's right, Mo. And next week, I will see you in person. I'll come to your birthday party, and we're going to have a lot of laughs and smiles and just good times. I'm really, really looking forward to next Saturday. And I encourage everybody who feels like coming down to come on down. Don't be wishy-washy about it. In the past, some people have said, I was thinking about coming to your Raptor Freak hangout, but then I didn't. And then I came to the next one. I was like really glad I did. So don't even think about it. If you're thinking about coming, don't be weird or afraid or have any kind of fears or anything. Just come. It will be great. Trust me. You're going to have a really good time. And you'll get to meet myself and Monique and other people from this channel. And you get a chance to get this Reggie Miller card. That's right. So next week, June the 8th, 4 p.m. or 4:30 p.m., wherever around there. If you just show up in the 4 o'clock hour, you'll see us. We'll be there. So, yeah, there we go. Mo's saying, book my rides before the stream today. Awesome. So she's got her ride ready to get down there for next week, and I'll be there too. Wayne saying, morning to Lexicon, the great giver of gifts and all the Raptor Streaks. Appreciate you, Wayne Strainer, and happy to see you again in the chat. It's been a little bit. And Fiercely saying, bye, fam. I'll see you guys all tomorrow. We're doing a Sunday special report. And you know what? I'm going to do a very interesting Sunday special report tomorrow. Y'all are going to want to watch it. Tom's saying, let's go. Let me just do a recap, and then I'll tell you what I'm going to do tomorrow. Will you also bring Justin Bieber? Nah, I don't want to destroy the mystery of Justin. If y'all saw who Justin really was in real life, I don't want to make you be disappointed. Some people say don't meet your heroes. And Fiercely, I don't think you should meet Justin. Don't meet your heroes. No, I don't think Justin will be there. And unfortunately, I don't think my parents are coming either because they're very tired from this trip we just did. And in some ways, they need the rest. And I'm not sure if they're going to make it down there with me and Adriana. So it's too bad. All right, let's see. Recap real quick. Share the love for Ochai Agbaji. Recent engagement with him and his fiance, and also just being a young Raptor with a bright future. We're excited to have you on our team, Ochai, and we'd love to see you have great success for our team. Help us win and get very far in the playoffs. Hopefully win some Larry O'Briens. And Ochai Agbaji, we wish you all the best in health, wealth, and love and life and everything with you and your nice, new, young fiance and all the good things for you, sir. That's right. All right, let me see. I'm going to wrap it up. Also, yeah. Oh, real quick, guys. Toronto Raptors are celebrating Indigenous Heritage Month this month. We honor the rich traditions, wisdom, and resilience of Indigenous people. We stand in solidarity, acknowledging their priceless contributions to our communities and striving for a future built on respect, reconciliation, and cultural appreciation. I stand with this also. I know that the Raptors have done different months of awareness and appreciation in recent months, and this one's one that's very dear and important to me for sure, as far as like celebrating Indigenous heritage and, get more in touch with this heritage. Seriously, even if I'm a person that's not really from that lineage of ancestors, I find so much wealth and knowledge and ideas and spirituality from indigenous sources. I watch certain YouTube channels that teach me about the ways of the old ways of the people that were on this continent before white people even came here. And it's so informative. And it is just, there's some really, really, really important things you could learn just as a human being from indigenous culture. So have an open mind to it. And, who knows if you can incorporate some of the spiritual teachings of the people who walked on this land before us, Turtle Island, then you know what, you're honoring them. I'm serious. You should do that. You should do that. All right. Once again, I appreciate y'all for watching me. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe, and even join the channel if you feel like it. Check out the community tab on the YouTube channel for fun. And thanks to everybody for playing the WNBA Fantasy League. You guys go ahead and check on your teams and make sure you're doing all right. Morgan's beating me now. David's winning. Fiercey's winning. Country Kong's winning, and also Kareem is winning right now. All right, let me wrap it up. Thanks for watching me. Tomorrow, Sunday special report, gambling in the basketball. Is this going to be a bad thing? Yeah, I'm going to go in depth a little bit more on going off about why gambling being so ensconced in the NBA at this point is a really bad thing. So let's talk about the NBA and the new gambling culture that's building, and maybe we'll be a little critical of some of the things that happen with like threats towards players and just the ruining of the sanctity of the game and the competition by putting an element in it that makes it very dubious whether it's all on the up and up. So yeah, Sunday special report, very heavy. The gambling culture of the NBA now. That's what we're going to talk about. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching me. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share, as I said before. And let's go Raptors. Let's go Ochai, Agbaji. And let's go Raptor Freak family. I appreciate y'all very, very much. I love you. And I will see you guys tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Sunday special report. Let's go Raptors.